Hi everyone, it's Ann with Art on the Creek, and as you know, Saturday is my day to share a product with you and to review it a little bit. Today's product is not something I would normally buy, but maybe it's something that would appeal to you, that you feel that you're lacking in your life. It certainly is unique. It is the Paul Rubens Glitter Watercolor Paper. Are you ready? Let's check this out. So here we are with the Paul Rubens Glitter Watercolor Paper, something you never thought you needed in your studio. And as it turns out, you may not need it. So let's find out what it's like to work with, because I really do think it's pretty high quality paper. It comes packaged in this slide out little box, and then it has these flaps so you can open it. It is wrapped in what appears to be a recyclable plastic, and you can just seal it again with this adhesive if you pull this off, and they are loose sheets. In the item description, it does say that it's handmade paper. However, all of the handmade paper that I think you and I would be familiar with has a lot more texture and typically a deckled edge. This does not follow along those lines. It says that their handmade paper is a production of these quality watercolor paper, draws on the strengths of traditional handcrafting while incorporating modern industrial techniques. In reading the item description, I would think that you would mostly use this just for fun, but the bonus is that the sparkles in here, and I think you can kind of see them a little bit. I'll show you more at the end, but they do keep the paper acid-free and pH neutral, so it's not going to turn yellow over time, which is really nice. It's a 300 GSM watercolor paper, and it is 100% cotton. The thickness is 1/2 millimeters, so it's basically 140 pound, 300 GSM paper. The swatch that I have on top, these are my Mission Gold paints, is just on some traditional watercolor paper, cold press, and the one on the bottom, the smaller sheet, is on the glitter paper. So you can see the glitter does show through the paints a little bit, and if you can't see it, I do have a close-up of all of this at the end. But it doesn't diminish the vibrancy of the paints. It doesn't make it hard to pull the paint over. It's a really nice paper. It's very easy to use. They say that it's hot press. I have a book of their cold press paper, and personally, I think the texture is the same. I've used their hot press paper before, and I think it's a little bit more smooth than this. But their cold press paper doesn't have a lot of texture in it. So what I did earlier was I did this galaxy painting. I just got the paper very wet, threw down some colors, and then put some salt on it, let it dry, came back and went over it with some gold there. I kind of think it's cool. It looks like a Middle-earth map of some sort, but I think that the thing that you're going to want to use this paper for is just to have fun. I have a feeling that it would be a great gift for someone, that just for them to try something new. If you're a card maker, this would be something that I definitely would recommend having in your arsenal. There's no denying it's fun. It's just a fun little extra, and the price is okay. It's not horrible. And for something that you just want to try and dabble around in, then, you know, this might be a fun little addition. And I do like that it is the acid-free and pH neutral, so that is nice, because I was actually kind of concerned about that. When you throw that glitter in there, what does that do to the artwork? One thing that they claim in their description is that the pigments and colors, the pigment colors are more vivid on this paper. I disagree with that. I saw no change whatsoever. And these Mission Gold paints, that's why I wanted to use those on this paper. They're very bright, very vivid. This is from their Pure Pigment set, and I really think that this was a fair test on this paper, just to test out their claim that it's going to add some vibrancy to your painting. It won't. It is fun. The glitter shows through. It's kind of like a very subtle mica effect. Not like the pearlescent paints, because those are a little bit different, but the mica paints. And I know that's a subtle distinction, but, you know, for me, I like the pearlescent paints better if I'm going to use them to accents. So let me just speed up this swatching here, and you can kind of see how it goes. The paint worked great. I had no problem whatsoever laying the color down, and everything performed beautifully. And I didn't get any footage of me actually creating this galaxy painting. I'm calling it a galaxy, but it's really not. I ended up making it a map. But anyway, here I am. I've got all the salt taken off of it now, and this is just a fast forward view of applying that gold with a fine liner brush. I'm using the Fine Tech Pearlescent Gold to outline the little shapes that I see here. This is just some intuitive painting that I've done on here. One thing I did notice that when I went to try and take the tape off, I definitely did need to, I needed to use the heat tool on it. I felt like it would tear if I just continued to pull on its own. Well, I think it's kind of cool. I mean, I like it, but it doesn't add anything at all. I think if you are into card making, then this might be kind of fun to try because the sparkle really does show through. But it's really good paper. It took the salt effect well, and it took a lot of water. As a watercolor paper, 100% I recommend it, absolutely. But then again, I really like Paul Rubens watercolor paper. This one's no exception. It seemed very familiar to use. The glitter, though, I don't know. They say that it's cool to use on things like beaches and anything where you have that sunlight reflecting. Personally, I would just use some dry brush technique and leave space for highlights. But this is a fun one. Add a little sparkle in your life. Get some Paul Rubens glitter paper. Here's that footage I promised you where you can really see the amount of glitter. It's quite a bit. It's you know what it looks like is snow. It's like the sunlight sparkling off of snow, and I think you can see it through, I'm sorry for the shaky camera here, but I think you can see it through the paint. It's just very subtle. And here's that swatch card again with the glitter showing through the little swatches. And the original swatch that I did on traditional watercolor paper, I don't think that the colors are more vibrant on the glitter paper, but they sure are sparkly. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching.